When Donnie first came to me and said, I want to write a musical based on the Lord's Prayer, I looked at him, like all his bread wasn't quite done or something. I said, you want a what? And he said, I want to write a musical based on the Lord's Prayer. And I said, Donnie, that's just one little baby prayer. That's a little short prayer. You can't write a whole musical from it. But we began working on it separately, and as I began to study the prayer, I found out there was not a wasted word in it. It's the most powerful prayer I've ever heard. But I was trying to figure out, how did we get into the whole thing of the Lord's Prayer? How do you get into it? And we went back and we started reading the scriptures where the disciples went to the Lord and said, Lord, teach us to pray. And I started thinking, how many times in my life, every day, do I not necessarily think I know how to pray about something? But no matter what the problem, I can go back to the Lord's Prayer, and if I pray it, it seems to apply to any situation in my life. But I started to begin to think about the teach us to pray, teach us to pray. And I do sign language. I'll set my little cup down here, but whenever, to show you, in sign language, to say teach us to pray, it's like you take the knowledge from your head and you do teach. And then it's us to pray. And as I begin to think about that, how beautiful that is in sign language, that the Lord takes our thoughts and make our thoughts His thoughts, and His thoughts are our thoughts. And to teach us to pray was so beautiful and just so gorgeous in sign language. I thought, well, that melody's got to be so beautiful and so almost pleading with God to teach us to pray. And I began sharing with Don and showed him some of the sign language for it, and we came up with the melody and the words to teach us to pray.
Teach us to pray. Teach us to pray with your understanding. Teach us, Lord, teach us to pray.
Several people have asked us, did we ever think the Lord's Prayer would win a Grammy Award? No, we didn't. And we honestly didn't.
When Pierre Cosette and the different people called us to do the Grammy Award show, first of all, I mean, you don't really think about winning. You really don't. Because when they called us and said, can you condense the Lord's Prayer from 50 minutes to 5 or whatever? And Donnie said, oh, sure I can. And I'm going, oh, me.
Well, I began doing this. I think I must have made 20 tapes up, trying to figure out how could we get a bit of each tune in it and still have a continuity to the work. All of the original artists, B.J. Thomas, Cynthia Clausen, Andre Crouch, Walter and Tremaine Hawkins, the Archers, and Reba and myself were all involved on the Grammy Award show that year.
Well, for a little girl from, Walnut Grove, Kentucky, population 36, I mean, that's just like outrageous to think about doing something like that. And that was so wonderful. And the days before the Grammys, we had a chance in the green room for 3 days of rehearsals to talk to a lot of people that didn't know the Lord. Not to force ourselves on it, but people would come up to us and say, well, we understand you sing gospel music. Tell us about Jesus, or what do you do, or why do you do it? And it was a beautiful time.
And we got to present. It was about 5.5 minutes long of this musical that just went from a little section to a little section to a little section. And it was great. And when that happened, I thought, how could we ask for more of a blessing than to be able to present this work to 70 million people?
But when they announced that we won, number one, Donnie picks me up and twirls me around, and we run into a cameraman, and it was so exciting. But the whole time I'm running out to get the award, I kept thinking, my Lord, a prayer that you prayed 2,000 years ago, and you blessed us to write a musical about, that's what's winning the Grammy Awards, not some junk song about, somebody running around on somebody's wife or somebody out on dope or whatever, but a song, a musical that honors you, that is your prayer, that you prayed. Forgive
reach on out through the pain and touch with hands of grace. Forgive me.
Satan's like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Lord, let your spirit be a hedge about us. Protect us with your supernatural power.
Lead us not into temptation. Keep us from the snare of that wicked, wicked one. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil for your name's sake. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us